items before we get going. For those joining us in person, Maddie has the microphone, so when we get to the Q&A portion of it, just raise your hand. We'll make sure you get a microphone from Maddie. And we welcome those of you joining us virtually on Zoom as well this morning or this afternoon, wherever you are zooming in from. Make sure you use the virtual raised hand function in Zoom to let us know you have a question. We'll take your questions here, as many as we can here before we wrap up. As everyone knows, and in case you missed it, yesterday, PREMA Racing, winners of some 80 driver and team single-seater championships through the years, announcing that they'll be joining the NTT INDYCAR Series in 2025. It is a full-time two-car effort with Chevrolet power and a shop that will be located here in the state of Indiana. And joining us this morning in the middle for PREMA Racing, Rene Rosin. He is the team principal, and then to his right and our left, we sort of welcome back Piers Phillips, who is the PREMA Racing INDYCAR CEO for the race team, and on the far right, we welcome as well INDYCAR President Jay Fry. Good morning to all three of you gentlemen. Thank you for being here. Let's go ahead and begin with Rene, and you know the growth of the team over the last 40 years. Now, it's hard to believe it's been 40 years, but it is 40 years. It's certainly well documented. The drivers that have come out of your program read kind of like a who's who, both in IndyCar and certainly Formula One. Rene, what makes the move to IndyCar the right move at the right time for you?
Good evening, good afternoon, everybody. It's good morning. Here in America, I'm still a bit of jet lag.
Yeah.
It's a bit of jet lag as well. For PREMA, we're always looking on new challenge, and having the possibility to compete here in the US in the most important championship against the most important American team is something that we are really proud and we are really looking forward in next year. And it's a new challenge for us. We are always looking to find new adventure, new possibility to expand, not only for our drivers, but as well for mechanics, engineers. So giving the opportunity to growing up with us, within our structure and our business is something that we're always looking forward.
Well, welcome. It was great news, exciting news yesterday morning. Piers, again, through your various IndyCar roles, welcome back.
Thank you.
Great to have you once again. Certainly, you know, a startup is not easy, but as you've gotten into this, what maybe has excited you even more about this opportunity?
Well, the first thing that excited me is obviously working with Rene and his team, PREMA. I mean, what a wonderful opportunity to be part of such a fabulous organization with such an amazing history. The challenge is something we all live for. You know, anybody that's a racer gets out of bed to go and win, and you know the challenge of that, or the challenge that's associated with that. But you know, for me, starting from what is effectively a blank page, and being able to incorporate what I know from my time here in the US in this amazing championship, and my previous experience, and obviously the PREMA experience from Europe, being able to blend that and really produce a different sort of culture and a really progressive thinking organization, along with our partners at Chevrolet, really excites me about putting a consistently competitive team together.
Again, welcome, congratulations.
Thank you.
Great to have you as well. And one more before we open it up for questions for Jay. You know, you bring in Meyer Shank, the list goes on and on. You talk about the majority stakeholder that McLaren has had over the last couple of years. That's some 4 teams really since 2020 that have joined the NTT INDYCAR Series. Certainly one of the things that we've talked a lot about in the rolling 5-year plan. How did this new relationship come about, Jay?
Well, it's amazing. You think about the rolling 5-year plan that we implemented in 2017. One of the goals was to recruit new and elite race teams and owners and that type of thing. So obviously 80 championships in 40 years, that's pretty elite, right? That's really elite. So we're certainly thrilled to have them. We've been talking with them for, I guess, the last 6-8 months. We worked on the plan. We let them see what it looks like going forward. So again, we're really excited to have them. And expanding on the last 2 years, we've had 27 full-time entries, right? So that was a record. So by my count, this will be 29 possibly. So it's, things are good.
Yeah, good stuff. Again, we'll open it up for questions. Those of you off of Zoom, stand by. We'll take your questions here momentarily. Maddie has the microphone. So you have a question, go ahead and raise your hand, and we'll work the room a little bit. We'll begin here. Steve Wittich from Trackside Online. Hi, Steve.
Hey, good morning. Rene, question for you. You obviously have produced some drivers that have done well here, Marcus, Felix, Callum. Did you talk to some of those guys and some of the former guys like Ryan Briscoe that you guys ran before coming over here to start an IndyCar program?
But honestly, even if we start talking together with IndyCar in the last 6-7 months, of course, the discussion of opportunity to expand into America is something that is coming already between more 2-3 years ago with some ideas. Of course, the discussion, we are still in very good contact with all these drivers that you mentioned. We just celebrate our 40th anniversary last year in December, and most of them has been able to join us in Venice in our event, and we always very close to them and very friendly relationship with all of them, and we always talk together. So it's always been, they always say, why not come to America? Why not do IndyCar? It will be something very good for you, very good for the team, and that's something that we're looking forward in 2025 now.
Very cool. And Jay, one for you. Obviously, with 29 cars potential next year, there's going to be some likely issues on a few of the pit lanes. Any thoughts so far on how you will look, maybe take care of those issues with places like Mid-Ohio, Toronto?
Yeah, well, we've talked about it before. Obviously, there's problems now with some of the places we go to, right? So it's something we got to evaluate, look at going forward. Certainly a problem, but it's a really good problem to have, and it's something we'll sort out.
Let's go Bruce Martin here in the front row.
Will the driver lineup be drivers that are already in your pipeline, or will it possibly be drivers that are already in IndyCar?
The drivers lineup is something that we are evaluating. We are looking how the market will lead first. We have some ideas. Of course, we want to get the most prepared as possible, getting a good lineup to perform. But of course, it's something that we will discuss in the next coming month. We are looking to get a competitive lineup within our self-experience. Rookie is something that we are evaluating. Possible also from our pipeline, possible not. Everything is open at the moment.
By the way, track inspection is happening right now, so that's why the track is quiet, just to clarify. Let's go back row. Nathan Brown from the Indianapolis Star. Hi, Nathan.
Thanks for joining us this morning. Handful of questions for the two of you from PREMA. To start off, you touched on this a little bit in your intros, but why IndyCar and why did you guys want to embark on this project right now in 2024 for 25?
I think, first of all, why IndyCar, as I said before, is a great challenge, is something that expands our business opportunity in another level, in another continent. We wanted to get out of Europe because, of course, we reach every possible category within the ladder of motorsport apart from Formula 1 in Europe, from karting till Formula 2. We have a technical partnership in the World Endurance Championship and as well in IMSA MDH. And this is something that we were looking to expand our boundaries to make sure that we can create a global group within our entity. Why in 25? Of course, when PREMA join a championship, is not to join to be just a number or to be somebody part of it. We want to be part as a protagonist. We want to be part when we are ready to do something, and 24 to 25 was the right moment for us in terms of structures, in terms of all the other programs that we are doing to setting up a new adventure here in the US.
And again, whoever makes sense for these, either Piers or Rene, happy to have you answer. Why two full-time cars to start off in a brand new series?
That's a good question, but I think it's to concentrate the effort more than anything else. There's a huge amount for PREMA to understand. Obviously the core of the team will have experience, and we're really comfortable. Or I'm really comfortable with the individuals that we have in line for that. But it's, I always tell people that IndyCar is probably the most challenging series in the world. The diversity of the tracks, the street courses, the ovals, and every street course is different, every oval is different, every road course is different, and we need to really hone in, concentrate our efforts, and put a competitive program together as quickly as possible.
In the release that was sent out yesterday, you guys mentioned starting in a shop in the Indiana area. Have you guys landed on that area yet? Have you purchased it? Are you still eyeing where you guys are going to land?
We are evaluating the options. We have, various places at the moment, but right now that's to be confirmed.
Gotcha. And I'll cede the floor after this one. But as Steve mentioned, you guys are coming to the series at a time where you could have the potential to have to qualify for just about every race on the calendar with this new potential charter system that IndyCar is evaluating at the moment. Is that a tough thing for you guys to, I guess, battle to start off with, a new team, 2 full-time cars, potential to have to qualify to just even start every single race? What are you guys' thought on that at the moment?
Well, obviously we're aware of the situation and aware of the discussions that are ongoing. Yes, we obviously in communications with IndyCar on that, and obviously we'll keep that on our focus as we move forward. But
Thanks.
In terms of, I think if I could speak from a competition standpoint, there's some very, very strong top-level teams in this championship. We know that, but it is our, desire that we will come in and we want to be competitive right from the word go. And I know that's a big ask, yeah, but we will be working extremely hard and putting all our efforts in to be competitive from the start of the program.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nathan. A follow-up from Bruce, and then we'll take a few off Zoom. Go ahead, Bruce.
Piers, because you've been involved with several IndyCar teams here in the last 10, 15 years, will the team members be comprised of a mixture of guys that you're necessarily maybe familiar with from having worked in IndyCar, along with some of the guys that may be working for the team over in Europe?
Yeah, that's a possibility. Yes, obviously, IndyCar, it's a very sort of, particularly the ovals, there's a niche of experience that is required. So, there's a lot of people since even the release yesterday. I think I'm surprised my phone didn't end up in a little ball of melted plastic yesterday. But we will be looking at blending the talents from both sides of the Atlantic. So I think that's a fair statement. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Bruce
Yeah.
has got one more.
And for Jay, when you began, one of the problems was there were a lot of good crew guys out there, not necessarily a lot of opportunities for them to have jobs. Now it's the opposite, where there are more jobs than you necessarily have talented or veteran crew guys. So how do you address that, and is that kind of a great problem to have?
Yes, just like when you mentioned about the car count, it's a problem, but it's a great problem to have. So we've tried to do things like, last year we set up a job portal. IndyCar did, to help recruit and help the teams do that. And I think there's been a lot of teams that have actually used that portal. So we collectively are working as a group with our paddock to do what we can to recruit new and young talent to come into the sport. Again, it's a great opportunity for a lot of young people right now to come into the sport at a time when it is growing rapidly. So again, it's a problem. It's a good problem. It's one we're all addressing together, and I think we'll get through it.
Let's take a few off of Zoom. We'll begin with Tim Hirani from TSN. Hey, Tim.
Hey, Dave, thanks very much. Hi, guys. Thanks very much for taking the time to do this. You had mentioned that, you competed in, pretty much everything over in Europe, from karts all the way up to F2 and obviously endurance racing as well. Coming over to IndyCar, just how difficult do you feel this challenge is going to be as you take it on next season?
First of all, is a great challenge to have, because it's meaning that we are on the top level of the motorsport worldwide, I would say. Of course, there will be some tough time ahead of us in terms of organization, in terms of planning, in terms of engineer, but with the passion and the determination of everybody within the team, I think that we can succeed. Of course, it will be a learning year, 2025. We need to learn this difficult way of racing from road course, ovals and street circuits, and I think that we are looking forward to blend together the European and the American mentality and bring some novelties within this championship.
Great. Thanks very much, guys, for your time. Really appreciate it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Michael DeForest, you're up next. Go ahead, Michael.
Thanks, Dave. Hello, guys. First question for Rene. Do you see IndyCar as a special opportunity to maybe keep some of the talents, because you are, of course, developing them until Formula 2, and maybe keep some of them and bring them to IndyCar to continue this relationship?
This is for sure an opportunity that we gave to drivers. Of course, the motorsport market is can offer different opportunity, but for drivers going into after Formula 2, one of the opportunity, of course, the place in Formula 1 are quite limited. Having the chance to explore also the IndyCar world is something to consider and something positive. So that's something that we can offer to our drivers in order to continue their progression and their aspire to professionalism.
Thanks, Rene. And Piers, you talk about, of course, about your experience in IndyCar. How exciting is it for you to have something from a blank slate and being able to also bring some people from Europe, bring people also from America, and have everyone meeting in PREMA?
It's an incredible it's an exciting opportunity, as I touched on before. I think, having known Rene and his team for a while now, the enthusiasm, the energy that emanates from them it's unbelievable. And I think to come in as maybe nobody else has done, we haven't an Indy Lights team, we haven't bought anybody or anything like that, to come in and really be able to put our mark on this from the first day we opened the workshop is incredibly exciting. And I think to see that come to fulfillment and first race win, dare I say, will be an amazing journey for everybody that's involved with it.
Thanks, Piers. And finally, a question for Jay. We've talked about, of course, about the car count. Do you envision maybe one day a hard stop on the number of cars allowed to race, or is it, everyone can still come in and you will find the solutions, even if you get into 31, 32 maybe full-time entries?
Probably a hybrid of both. We will do all we can to start as many cars as we can, but obviously, like you mentioned, there are limits. So there will be a time where that has to be addressed, and we'll address it.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. Let's take a few more offline. Let's go Dan Jones, Dive Bomb Motorsport Magazine overseas. Go ahead, Dan.
Thanks, Dave. Sorry, just had a few technical issues there. Just for Rene, first of all, congrats on the news. How hands-on is your role going to be? Are you going to be more focused on the European side of things, or are you going to be supporting peers in the States a bit more? How's that sort of going to work?
So first of all, is we need to continue competing and winning, of course, in the European side. So my role will evolve into a more overlooking both sides of PREMA, so both European and America. In each group, we have a responsible that is on the day-by-day management. Of course, I will be present in the most important event, and then I will try to do my best to make sure that every team has all the needs and the possibility to well perform.
Thank you very much. And I don't know who's best placed to answer this, but in the last couple of years, you've seen a few teams form alliance and partnerships with bigger teams, especially when they're newer to the series. Is something you potentially look at exploring to help your development in the series?
By something that we are open to everything. We are open to evaluating. Of course, we want to do our road. We want to do our team in the best way as possible. When will be the moment to discuss it? I think we will start discussing. But it's something that we want to do to first analyze all the opportunities and then decide what is the best to do.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And just for a couple of questions for Jay. First of all, what do you think this puts into sort of the health of the series, where we're getting yet another big European name come in? How good news is this for the series?
Well, it's obviously huge news. Obviously, a team that's won 80 championships in 40 years, that's phenomenal. I mean, I can even do that math. That's pretty good math, right? No, it's exciting. Again, we come up with a plan. This was kind of, or for sure, our vision of what it could happen is to recruit elite teams like PREMA. So to have them here, we're quite excited about it. Again, going back to the car count piece, that the last couple of years we've had 27 full-time entries, which is a record. We've just added to that, and we've added to that with a very elite program. So we're certainly excited to have them.
And just sort of on that, obviously, we're bringing entries up to 29. Are there any other teams potentially looking at bringing entries to the series? Could we see that number grow even more in the next few years?
Yes. There's ongoing conversations with 2 or 3 different entries or entities. So it's a problem, but it's a good problem to have right now. There's a lot of interest in IndyCar, and again, I think it looks back over what's happened over the last few years. Going forward, we got a lot of good things going on, so there is currently a lot of interest in IndyCar, yes.
Great news. Well on the announcement, and thanks for your time. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan, for joining us. So we'll take one more offline. Juan Arroyo from the Feeder Series. Go ahead, Juan.
Morning, and thank you. This question is for Mr. Rosin. Considering you've built a virtual ladder in junior racing series in Europe, how do you see the junior racing ladder in the United States? Do you also plan to expand to Indy Next at some point? Is that a consideration at all further down the line?
Of course, we need to keep our eyes open and to see what the market will require. But at the moment, I think we have quite enough on our table to what we are doing, and we are looking to improve that and stabilize all our effort and maximize the results.
Great. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you again for joining us. Any follow-ups in person? Nathan?
For Piers, I know you've obviously got a wide-ranging IndyCar experience. You've been around and seen some new teams that have come in to the series over the last 5 to 10 years. Seen some, like Carlin, for example, that I know has been in the junior European ladder system for a while, come in and eventually exit. What do you feel like are some of the most important things to be able to have success and be a long-time team in the series and not fizzle out after a couple of years?
Well, I think the main thing in my experience is understanding the culture of American racing, because it's different to Europe. You know, having, you know, worked in both sides of the Atlantic and had success on both sides of the Atlantic, you understand the strengths, but the racing's different, you know, and I think it's important that you come in and respect the championship and respect the series for what it is, and particularly this place. You know, what an amazing facility for anybody to come and race at, but you need to understand the cultural differences, and that, you know, that's back to what I was talking about earlier, being able to blend the best of both worlds and try and end up, you know, somewhere better than everybody else. But it's, you know, those other teams, they're all different circumstances. You know, I think we start from a really strong foundation with PREMA and their experience, and it's up to me to make sure that we, you know, we guide it in the right direction and keep our eyes open and make sure that we don't fall into any of the situations that those previous teams did.
I know it's been said some places that you guys might try to target, say, an experienced IndyCar driver and then maybe someone who's currently in your development program for your two drivers next year. Is that the goal or the format that you guys are targeting right now, or is that somewhat in flux still?
If I can say, for sure, ideally, it will be good to have an experienced drivers and, of course, one rookie. But on the other hand, as PREMA, we always work with rookie. We always maximize the result, and we are not scared even to have two rookies. So we are really evaluating all the opportunity to maximize what is our potential and our results. And I think this is now the next step on what we will dedicating most of our time together to building up the teams in the best ways possible. And that's quite soon we will have some news.
And last question, kind of a follow-up for me. As IndyCar is pursuing this new charter system, is it a goal of your guys' to buy one or two of these charters whenever they become available, or are you guys okay operating in the current status quo, potentially have to qualify for races, etc., when you guys start out the first couple of years?
Of course, chartering system is something that is on the table, is on a discussion of IndyCar. So first we want to understand how everything will go, and then we will decide what's the best way to do.
Great, thanks.
Thank you.
Last call, in person? All right, we'll go ahead and leave it there for now. Quick photo op, James, go ahead and cue you up, but congratulations, Rene, Piers, Jay, obviously. Great news yesterday morning, and the hard work now begins, right, yeah, Piers? Is that right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Super excited. Thank you.
Congratulations again. PREMA Racing joining the NTT INDYCAR Series in 2025. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. For everyone in person, a reminder, bullpen for select veteran drivers begins at 11 at Trackside Garage number 24. Again, thanks, everyone.
Getting up to speed, and he's actually second fastest lap time. Second fastest speed, 226.3. So no time at all for Kyle Larson to get comfortable in that number 17 machine. Now Rena's looking to try to fight back.